Chairman, thank you. Mr. Secretary, thank you for your service. Thank you for your presence this morning. You and I don't know each other well, but I would welcome the opportunity to change that and offer me and my team the offer to you to work with you in the State Department on the betterment of the United States and the world.
Thank you.
IAEA's Director General has called on Iran to answer questions about uranium particles at former undeclared sites. Reuters reports that the U.S. and European allies will not offer a resolution critical of Iran on this subject. What is the plan to hold Iran accountable to its international obligations in this regard?
It needs to answer those questions, plain and simple. We would be in an even better place to insist on its answering those questions if we managed to get Iran back into compliance with the JCPOA, and if we were part of it too. It has mechanisms that allow us to insist on Iran making good on access, making good on sharing information. But regardless, it needs to answer those questions. It needs to come clean about past activities.
Thank you. Let me mention a couple of perhaps Kansas-specific things. First of all, we've worked, me and my staff worked to secure visas for those seeking to come to Kansas, and I appreciate the conversations that I had earlier this year with the Consular Affairs folks within the State Department on expanding the national interest exemption to include agricultural workers and other parts of my state's economy. What I'm talking about here is that with the announcement early on in the Biden administration of visas being denied due to COVID in certain countries, one of those is South Africa. It is a country that provides workers, particularly in agricultural harvest, from Texas to North Dakota, and we were successful in getting them included in an exemption so that they could continue to come here and work, and I'm grateful for that. But the bureaucracy, the paperwork, the backlog is still a problem, and harvest comes regardless of whether or not there's a backlog, and those workers are hugely important. And I don't know whether you have a specific way to solve that problem, but it highlights for me, are the State Department employees vaccinated? When do we have everybody back to work? Are we there yet? And if the answer to those questions is no, what else can be done to meet these deadlines for us to feed Americans in the world?
Well, very happily, I can report that our missions overseas are vaccinated, and we got that done in, I think, in late April. It was a big challenge. I think I know my predecessors had this frustration. There was an anticipation the State Department would receive 300,000 plus vaccines in December. We got 13,000 back then, and we have been running as fast as we can to make up the difference. And happily, we've gotten all of our overseas missions vaccinated. So that's the good news. That's allowing us, consistent with ongoing safety protocols, I think, to be more effective in actually processing visas, starting to open that back up again. However, as you know, various travel restrictions remain, guided by the science, guided by what we're hearing from the CDC and other colleagues. But we would like nothing better than to be able to get back to business as usual. Parenthetically, one of the things that suffered and our budget tries to make good on is, consular affairs and the visa processing system has actually been a money winner for the State Department over the years. With the dramatic decline in the issuance of visas because of COVID, we now have a deficit that we have to make up. But my hope is we'll be able to move forward. And by the way, in terms of looking at exemptions or people who you think need to be able to come here, we are very open to working with you and then seeing what, if anything, can be done.
Okay, thank you. Having their approval to come here is one thing. That's a beneficial thing. Actually getting the process completed to allow them to come is the part I wanted to highlight for you. And again, ask for your help and encouragement to see if you can't find solutions to that process. Another topic I'd like to raise is there's a native Kansan, Michael Sharp, and he was working for the United Nations when he and a colleague were murdered in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I commend the embassy there for keeping me apprised of this seeking of justice for those murders. and that justice is apparently being pursued. And arrests have been made, but the trial has been delayed. And I just would ask for your commitment to continuing Americans' assistance to the DRC and in pursuit of that justice, and ask you to keep me informed of developments or how I can help.
You have that commitment.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank